Good morning, 5th grade. It is May 18th, 2020, and it is Monday, beginning of a new week. We're going to be continuing reading with our book, Among the Hidden by Margaret Peterson Haddix. We are on chapter 27. We are getting pretty close to the end. I believe that there is, let me just check, only 30 chapters. So I'm going to look today to order the new book for the next book in the series, which you guys have requested. So I'll do that today because we're getting very close. All right, chapter 27. Luke stifled his instinct to run. He turned around as slowly as he could. Guns had been outlawed for everyone but government officials long before he was born. He recognized the object pointed at him from the books and from Dad's descriptions. Dad had always talked about hunting rifles and shotguns, big guns, to bring down deer or wolves. The gun was smaller, meant to kill humans. All that flashed through Luke's mind before he looked beyond the gun, to the man holding it. He was tall and fleshy, his expensive clothes only partially hiding his bulk. Luke had seen him only from a distance before. "You're Jen's dad," he said. "I didn't ask who I was," the man snapped. "Who are you?" Luke exhaled slowly. "A friend of Jen's," he said cautiously. Only because he was watching very, very closely did he see the man lower the gun by a fraction of an inch. "Please," Luke said, I just want to know where she is." This time the man was clearly relaxing his gun in his hand. He circled around behind Luke and snapped off the computer. "Jen says you have to park the hard drive before you do that," Luke said. "How do you know about Jen?" the man asked. He narrowed his eyes. Luke blinked. The man was bargaining. He realized offering to negotiate. He wanted something from Luke before he would tell Luke anything about Jen. But what? "I'm a third child too," Luke said finally. The man's expression didn't change. But Luke thought he saw a flicker of interest in his eye. "I'm a neighbor. I found out about her and I started coming over when I could." "How did you know she was here?" the man said. "I saw." Luke didn't want to get her in trouble. I saw lights when I knew everyone was gone. I guessed. I really, really wanted there to be a third child for me to meet." "So Jen was careless," the man said, with an edge to his voice that Luke didn't understand. "No," Luke said uncertainly. "I was observant." The man nodded, only to accept Luke's answer. Then he sat down in the chair by the computer desk and rested his gun on his leg. Luke took that as a sign that the conversation might last long enough for him to find something out. "Did Jen teach you how to disable our alarm system?" the man asked. Luke saw no point in lying. "Yes, but I must have screwed up since you came." "No," the man said. "If you screwed up, the security guards would have come. But I have it set so I automatically get notified of the system shut down while I am away. Given the circumstances, I decided to investigate myself." Luke longed to ask what circumstances he meant, but the man was already asking another question. "So what else did you and Jen do together?" the man said. Luke couldn't understand why he sounded so accusatory. "Nothing," Luke said. "I mean, we talked a lot. She showed me the computer. She wanted me to go to the rally, but I was too scared." Too late, Luke thought, to wonder if the man knew about the rally. Luke was betraying Jen's confidence. But the man didn't seem surprised. He was studying Luke as intently as Luke had been studying him. "Why didn't you stop her?" the man asked. "Stop Jen? That's like trying to stop the sun," Luke said. The man gave Luke the faintest of smiles, one that contained no happiness. "Remember that," he said. "So where is she?" Luke asked. The man looked away. His voice broke. "Jen is no longer with us. She's dead," the man said harshly. Somehow Luke had known without wanting to know. He stumbled backwards in shock. He bumped into the couch and sagged into it. "No," he said, "not Jen. No, you're lying." His ears roared. He thought crazy things. "This is a dream. A nightmare. I will wake myself up." He remembered Jen talking a mile a minute, gesturing widely. How could she be dead? He tried to picture her lying still, not moving, dead. It was impossible. The man was shaking his head helplessly. "I'd give anything to have her back," he whispered. "It's true. I saw. They gave us the body. Special privilege for government official." His voice was so bitter. Luke could barely listen, and when we couldn't even bury her in the family plot. Couldn't take a bereavement day off work, couldn't tell anybody why we were going around with red eyes and aching hearts. No, we just had to pretend to be the same old family of 4 we'd always been. How? Luke asked. How did she die? He was thinking if the car had wrecked, it wouldn't be so bad. Or maybe it had nothing to do with the rally. Maybe she just got really sick. They shot her, Jen's father said. They shot all of them, all 40 kids at the rally, gunned down right in front of the president's house. The blood flowed into his rose bushes, but they had the sidewalk scrubbed before the tourists came, so nobody would know. Luke started shaking his head, no, and couldn't stop. But Jen said there'd be too many people to shoot. She said that there'd be 1,000. Luke protested as if Jen's words would change what he was hearing. Our Jen had too much faith in the bravery of her fellow hidden, Jen's father said. Luke flinched. I told her I couldn't go, he said. I told her it's not my fault. No, Jen's dad said quietly, and you couldn't have stopped her. It's not your fault. There are plenty of other people who deserve the blame. They probably would have shot 1,000 or 15,000. They don't care. His face twisted. Luke thought he had never seen such pain, not even in the time Matthew dropped a sledgehammer on his foot. Tears began to spill down Jen's father's face. What I don't understand is, why did she do this? This children's crusade. Well, she wasn't stupid. She'd been warned about the population police all her life. Did she really think the rally would work, he said. Yes, Luke assured him. Then, unbidden, the last words she'd spoke to him came back to him. We can hope. After she had told him hope was worthless. Maybe she knew the rally would fail. Maybe she even knew she would probably die. He remembered the first day he had met her, when she cut her hand to cover the drops of his blood on the carpet. There was something strange in Jen. He couldn't quite understand. That made her willing to sacrifice herself to help others. Or to try to. I think at first she thought the rally would work, Luke told Jen's dad. And then, even when she wasn't sure, she still had to go. She wouldn't call it off. Why? Jen's dad asked. He was sobbing. She didn't want to die. No, Luke said. She wanted to live, not die, not hide, live. The words played over and over again in his brain. Not hide, live, not hide, live. As long as he had held on to them, he felt like Jen was there. She'd just left the room for a minute to go get more potato chips. Maybe soon she'd be back to lecture him again about how they both deserved a better life than hiding. He couldn't believe it. Her voice was echoing in his ears. But if he let go, let the words stop for a minute, he was lost. He felt like the whole world was spinning away from him. And when he was all alone, he wanted to cry out, Jen, come back, as if she could hear him and stop the spinning and come to him. As if from a great distance, Luke heard Jen's father heave a sigh and blow his nose in a businesslike way. You may not be ready to hear this, he said. Dizzily, Luke raised his head and listened half-heartedly. When you logged into that chat room, Jen's father said, a buzzer went off in a room in the population police headquarters. They're monitoring the chat room very closely. They found it after the rally. I've managed to cover things up about Jen, but they'll trace your message back to our computer. The population police are backlogged right now, following leads from the rally. So you should have a day or two to come up with a plausible sounding explanation. But if they investigate too carefully, you may be in danger. More than usual? Luke said sarcastically. Jen's dad took the question seriously. Yes, they will begin actively looking for you. They'll search every house around this one. It wouldn't take them long to find you. A chill ran down Luke's spine. So he would die, just like Jen. Or not like her. She had gone bravely. He would be caught like a mouse in its hole. But if you'll let me, Jen's dad continued, I can get you a fake ID. You can be miles away before they come looking. You would do that for me? Luke asked. Why? Because of Jen. But how? I have connections, you see. Jen's dad hesitated. I work for the population police. And that is the end of chapter 27. So I want you to think about what it would mean for Luke to get a fake ID. How would his life change? What do you think is going to happen? What do you think that means? He's going to get a fake ID, so how does that help his situation? So I want you to answer that question, and I guess I will see you tomorrow for chapter 28, and I'm going to order the books so we can move along with the series. Hopefully the second book is just as good as this one has been so far. All right, friends, I will see you tomorrow.